all the comments are, so you don't want people to go to college. You can't afford college. You
Right.
old man, you don't know anything about the cost of college.
I love the voice.
The comments are full of stupid people.
That dream school that you so desperately want to go to, they need you far more than you think you want them. I don't care if it's Ivy League. I don't care if it's elite HBCU. I don't care if it's that private school way down yonder. It don't matter. This is a business and you are their customer. Your kids are getting taken advantage of in the financial aid office. I'm telling you they are. I've literally seen the folks with the corner offices, the directors, counsel families into massive amounts of student loan usage, literally telling them, yeah, it'd be better for you to just take the loans. Y'all seem to like these, so we're going to rock with it again, y'all. We're, of course, going to the debt-free guru, Dave Ramsey, one of his personalities. This I've only seen like maybe 30 seconds of the show or this particular episode just to make sure that it was a good fit for today's reaction video. So, yeah, we get ready to get into it. And let me make sure that we are rocking and rolling. Let's get to it.
I posted this. The federally insured student loan program is stupid, and it needs to stop now. We, the people, need to quit letting Congress insure loans in our name to put young people so deeply in debt they can't breathe. I'm not against education. I'm against stupidity. All the comments are, so you don't want people to go to college. You can't afford college. You old man, you don't know anything about the cost of college.
I love the voice.
The comments are full of stupid people. And there's a rock star right there who just did it. Young Page is an absolute rock star and is an example of thousands of people that we have met over the years.
Real quick, this is the part that I watched earlier, and you'll hear him finish the statement. Thousands of people who have graduated from college with zero student loan debt. It is very much so possible, y'all. I'm an extreme advocate for higher education. I serve institutions of higher learning literally around the globe as a motivational speaker, as an educational consultant, helping with retention, helping with mental health, helping with academic success, and the list goes on, right? So I'm an extreme advocate for higher education. But I am even more an advocate for financial stability. I don't want to, okay. I'm even more an advocate for financial stability. And so college is an amazing choice for, I believe, many families, the vast, vast majority. But only if it's done the right way. And that's what the approach to obtain your degree with little to no student loan debt. Let's keep going.
Okay. Now, what do we tell people? Anthony O'Neill's book, Debt-Free Degree, covers this. And the first thing that you have to do is you have to stop saying to yourself, and for sure to your young people in America, that the only way to go to college, because college is so expensive, that you only way to go to college is a student loan, and do away with the student loan debt program would mean to do away with education, which is absolutely asinine and wrong. So you have to stop saying that first.
Right, number one.
And then, how could you say that? Well, you can say that with the proof that's in the pudding, and the elements that you need to do to go to college debt-free are
scholarships. That's what she's doing. Well, it's choosing a school you can afford, first and foremost.
I was getting ready to say, okay, so yes, scholarships are an integral piece to the debt-free degree puzzle. But even before that, because you have to win the scholarships, right? You got to find that money. But even before that, what she just said in regards to choosing the right institution, that is paramount. Everybody has their dream school. I've shared on the channel before about how Nick Cannon's movie Drumline influenced my viewpoint on what the college life was, and helped to, and I say helped loosely, right? Helped to create an image of my mind in as to what a college experience should look like, and it did for many people. And so our babies grew up with this idea of what the college experience should be, and I think that you should have a good college experience academically, socially, but at the end of the day, it's about that piece of paper, right? It's about the dollars and cents, y'all. College has to be a financial investment for your future, because if it's not, it's going to be the greatest intention for your financial stability, but become the greatest demise to your financial stability, because you're biting off more than what you can chew. In the same way that you would go to any store to buy something, you know in your mind how much you can spend, right? Even if you use a credit card, which I don't advise, right? Even if you use a credit card or use some sort of borrowed money, you know that there's a limit to what you can spend. And if you cannot pay for it, you'll put it back. Why do we do this differently with college? Why do we think that the money's just going to pop up? Why do we think that it's just going to work out? No, that is delusion. That's delusion. That's fantasy. And I'm a man of faith. I believe in Jesus. I'm rocking with him. I'm rocking with him. You hear me? But that's not faith, y'all. That's fantasy. It's delusion. It is not wise. It's the lack of wisdom. Faith is not the absence of wisdom. I don't care who taught you that. It's not the absence of wisdom. It's wisdom applied as well. All right. I didn't come to preach. Let's listen to Pastor Dave and his personality.
Scholarships and grants, working. I mean, there's many elements, but I think that the very first step, though, well, the one before that one was that you have to decide yourself, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going into debt for it. So now what are my options?
Yeah, I just won't do it. And so you have to go into it with a game plan. And the game plan starts with the mindset of saying, I'm just not going to do it. This is a line that I'm not willing to cross because I intend for college to be a means of an investment for my child's future. Parents, it belongs to us, this responsibility. Your kid has no idea what they're getting themselves into, and so we have to guide them. You have to first know that you don't have to choose this. It's just like if you have been in a relationship before and you've had an experience that scarred you, right? You know, hey, this is a red flag. I'm not looking for this in Mr. So-and-so or Sister So-and-so. If they have this quality or characteristic, if they walk, talk, dress, act like this, I'm not rocking with it. And it's the exact same thing, especially parents, if you've gone to college and you've borrowed student loans and you know the financial struggles that you've gone through to establish yourself, and now you've gotten into a good place to where you're not burdened by the plague of student loan lenders, y'all, why would you let your kid do the same thing? Why would you let your kid do the same thing? What? My kids will never borrow student loans. Yeah, my kids will never borrow student loans. Why? Because my wife and I have been committed before they were born to setting them up so that they don't have to. We got to take this first step, parents, y'all. And so it starts with that mindset. And I love the advice that she gave in regards to choosing the right school. Here's how you determine if it's the right school or not. Number one, can I afford it? If stuff goes wrong, can I still foot the bill? Number two, if I can't pay for it or if I can't afford it, how is it going to get paid for? And if you're not willing to be able to put in the work, parent, student as well, if you're not willing to put in the work to finance or to fund your dream school or your school that you're going to, it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare. Here's how I determine if this is the right school. Is it affordable? Is it going to give me the biggest return on investment? Or is it going to give me a return on my investment? What is it going to do to me and for me financially? Meaning, is it going to burden me financially? Right? And is it going to, or rather, is it, and in addition to that, is it going to help me financially once I get my degree with no debt? Right? And so you have to be considering those things. Obviously, you want the school to be able to have what you want to study, right? So does it serve your needs in that regard? But I say financials first because college has to be a financial decision. It can't be a decision that you make based off of the social climate. It can't be a decision that you make because it's socially acceptable. It can't be a decision that you make simply because you think it's the next best step or the right thing to do. No. The right thing to do after high school is what's going to set you up for the best financial standpoint. College can be that because most of the jobs in America require a degree or its equivalent. Something that says you're proven, I can trust you, you know what you're doing, you're willing to learn, so forth and so on. You got to have something. And a college degree is just like the industry litmus test for jobs in America. And so that can be a really, really good decision for you to make to establish yourself financially, but not in the instance or in the cases where you borrow so much before you even make a dollar.
And okay, maybe I go to a community college for the first year or two.
Strategy.
My school selection is key.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you stay in state and go to a public university. Paige still freaking went to a private school, $37,000 a year, but had the scholarships to do it and worked and paid for it.
She never paid $37,000.
No.
She chose her school based on where she could get scholarships and that she could afford it. So
here we go. This is another thing that trips people up, and it's what they're talking about right now. Like you have to look at this process as being something that you You have to look at making the decision for your particular school as a negotiation. Okay? Especially if you have a great resume, a high GPA, you've got something to offer that the school wants. Okay. That dream school that you so desperately want to go to, they need you far more than you think you want them. I don't care if it's Ivy League. I don't care if it's elite HBCU. I don't care if it's that private school way down yonder. It don't matter. This is a business and you are their customer. If there are no customers, there is no business. And so just as what they're alluding to in the student who graduated debt-free, $37,000 a year, that's hefty. That's hefty. Private education, that's hefty. Private schools usually cost more for those who don't know, right? And she graduated debt-free. Why? Because she used strategy in this, okay? Case in point, my student Kamaya that I work with, her school is one of the most expensive schools in her state, over 60 grand a year. She's going completely debt-free, right? She's literally getting paid to go to school, going completely debt-free because she used strategy as well. She got hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarship offers, right? She had choices to make. She didn't just run to her dream school per se. We use strategy coming into this, right? One of the things that happened in her process when I was working with her is that the school gave her an award letter, which is basically an outline of the awards that they're going to offer you. And I looked at it and I'm like, no, they have more money. They're shortchanging you, right? This is a negotiation piece, y'all. She had like a 4.0 plus GPA, high SAT score. She was like, you know, the perfect resume type of student. So she had something to offer, right? And even if you don't have as much to offer, you can still negotiate. The point is, y'all, we didn't just settle for what they gave to us. That's a part of the strategy. It's a part of the strategy. You gotta work it. Do you understand me? And I want to empower you families. If you're watching this, man, you can work this process, y'all. You don't have to simply just take what they give you, but have strategy going into it as well, like what they're mentioning. Don't just go to the first school that accepts you, okay? This is why I say that college can't be a decision that's made off of if whether or not this is going to build your morale or make you feel good about yourself. No, you'll ruin yourself financially. It's got to be an investment for the future. The best investments sometimes take a little while, but they have the biggest returns, okay? You have to approach the process in this way.
Go to a school that's doing that, Abilene Christian in this case, which I've got a good friend that graduated from there, a couple of them, matter of fact. And you also can go to an in-state school. You also can go to a community college, and you don't have to go across state lines and pay 3 times the tuition for basically the same education because you went across a state line. Now, some adjoining states sometimes will give you in-state tuition because they're trying to attract students across the state line.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. Most recently, I haven't done any verifiable like research, but most recently I've heard of some HBCUs in Maryland allowing out-of-state students from states without HBCUs, basically giving them the in-state tuition, right? And so that's another negotiating piece, right? And so that's why I say you can't just go to college off of a whim. It's got to be a wise financial investment because you can work this, y'all. You can make sure you can choose a school with the right strategy, right? You can choose a school and obtain an education, right? With no debt, with little to no debt, y'all. This is very possible. But here's the problem. The problem is that you're solely relying on one of many problems is that you're solely relying on your child's high school to guide them through this process. And their main job is not anything remotely concerned with how the bill is being paid. They're not concerned with it because the metrics to that regard don't matter nearly as much for their district as much as whether or not the students actually get into school. Getting into school is the lowest on the totem pole, should be the lowest on the totem pole. There are thousands of institutions of higher learning. Your baby can get into one of them. Your baby can get into 10 of them. I'm convinced. I've literally seen students with sub 2.0 GPAs walk into an admissions office articulate, suited and booted, able to articulate themselves and pitch themselves and walk into a conditional acceptance. I've seen it with these 2 eyes. I didn't just hear about it. Oh, and eventually they got scholarships. The point is that there are opportunities there. You have to ensure, parents, that this is the right opportunity, the best financial decision for your child and their future, because it will ruin them. Okay, just to qualify myself, I formerly worked in the financial aid industry. That's where my passion from this comes, because when I was working there, my mother told me that she had used a portion of her retirements to put her baby boy through college and my brother through college. And on top of that, I borrowed over $30,000 of student loans. Okay. So what I'm about to tell you is not from a place of experiment. I didn't just read about it. I've experienced it with families and even myself. Okay. The FAFSA, the federal government, the Department of Education will loan your baby nearly $60,000 in loans, and that's just for them. That's not Parent Plus. That's not private. That's not any of the other financially disastrous stuff that they will allow. Right? They will let your kid borrow nearly $60,000 with no proof of income or with no ability to pay it back. What do you think that's going to do to them? What do you think it's going to do to them? That's why I talked about earlier, like, that's delusion. It makes no sense. It's literally the absence of reason. It's literally the absence of logic. And so why would you make this conscious decision to allow your child, your child, why would you allow your child to set themselves up for financial disaster in that regard? Is it because you went to this particular school and you want your baby to have the college experience that you had? Your alma mater. You want to flex at homecoming. You want them to join your chapter. But at what expense? Literally. To what avail? So that they can be living in your basement for the rest of their lives? Scraping and scratching, robbing Peter to pay Paul? We have to approach this process differently. I'm done my little rant. Let's get back to Pastor Dave.
And especially particularly students with good grades. Now, the other thing was she had good grades. Let me tell you also what else she had.
Yeah, good grades matter.
Yep.
Parents, your kids don't know. They don't know. They don't know. All right, this video is getting long. Let's. Maybe we just got to do a part 2. Okay, I think I'm gonna cut it off right here. I want you to come back next week for part 2, but this last piece in regards to the parenting, y'all, it is so vital. It's so vital. It's so vital. Too often, too regularly, parents go into this process ignorantly. They go into this process having no understanding of the ins and outs. I'm not even saying you got to work with somebody like me who's going to be in your business, who's going to be giving you strategy, all in the details. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying, please, at the very least, know how much the school costs that you are about to send your child to. Your child probably doesn't even know that the tuition and fees is not in your name and it's in their name. Your child doesn't even know what can happen to their credit score, or in other words, their reputation, if there is $1 of unpaid tuition and fees on their account. I told you I used to work in the financial aid industry. I've seen accounts sent to collections for less than $10. Why? Because it's their money that you owe them. At the very least, parents, especially if you didn't go to college and you feel uncomfortable, y'all, you need to at least be protecting your child, man. Your kids are getting taken advantage of. Your kids are getting taken advantage of in the financial aid office. They absolutely are. And I'm not speaking directly to any financial aid professional per se, but I'm saying that they got a job to do. And your kid has no idea what they're getting taken advantage of. They're getting taken advantage of. I'm telling you that they are. I'm telling you they are. I'm telling you they are. I've literally seen the folks with the corner offices, the directors, counsel families into massive amounts of student loan usage, literally telling them, yeah, it'd be better for you to just take the loans. Verbatim. I've seen it with these eyes. Literally counsel them into mounds of student loan debt. I'm just saying, if nothing else, protect your babies. because they are absolutely going to get taken advantage of. They absolutely are. They absolutely are. They absolutely are. Can I say it more than that? I don't know how much more to emphasize this, or how much more to emphasize it so that you'll get it. Parents, it's our responsibility. If nothing else, know how much the school costs and if whether or not you can pay for it. At the core of it, you don't have to sign up and buy any of my books, any of my programming. You don't have to come to my boot camp or anything. Very simply, how much does this school cost, Johnny? We can't pay for this. And if we can't pay, where the money coming from? If you're not willing to figure it out, don't let them go. I want you guys to come back for part 2 next week.